we're opening up straight away. Throat chakra energy has been huge today. Even now I think about it, from when I woke up in meditation this morning, there was a huge throat chakra blockage. And when we speak about the throat chakra, this is about blending almost multidimensional otherworldly aspects and allowing the vessel to become, I'm hearing, merely a conduit, or a mere conduit for the soul to express and experience itself through form. And I'm hearing for those around you to experience the expression that flows through you. Where has there been an inhibition when it comes to I'm hearing validity of that expression? And this is an egoic belief that there has to be a validity to that expression, or a reason that the mind understands what the heart already knows. And I'm hearing there is telepathy between the hearts. Something that you do or something that flows from you connects so freely to the hearts of those around you in a way that is touched but goes unseen a lot of the times. So I'm seeing it as, don't underestimate the unseen work. I'm hearing the unseen impact. Okay, this feels like impact. Ooh, this is very interesting. You know what this is? I'm seeing it as inspiration. Okay, this is like a whole channel coming through before we even get into the main event. Today's reading is all about the Seven Doors Temple, and I'm going to take you through the story of what unfolded, because it was huge throat chakra energy. But the thing that I was hearing is that it's not my story, it's our story, okay? This is our story of what it is that we've also been experiencing as a collective. So I'm so sure sharing this today is going to be something that, you know, lands very deeply with you. So with the Seven Doors Temple, it felt very different, but not in an overwhelming way, just in a way that there were precise things being revealed to me as I merged with this environment, right? So when I speak about the merging, this is about us as souls and extensions of the earth, these organisms of consciousness. When we come into contact points, there are certain physical activations that translate from the etheric energetic realms and surface inside of our body. This is about sensations and emotions being informers when it comes to dimensional blocks. And I'm seeing belief systems that have blocked your ability to recover the gifts that reside within these dimensional layers of yourself, okay? So this is where we hold ourselves back. There was that keyword that I said, I don't remember what it was now. What was the keyword? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just seeing display. I keep seeing the word display, or displayed. Something is being displayed. And I'm seeing it from you. It's being embodied from you. Noticed is also a keyword. Or there's a whole channel that's wanting to come through. Okay, let me just set. This is the aquamarine. This crystal is super powerful, right? And what it does is it almost acts like a transduction system. So it alchemizes. When you put it against the human vessel, it literally feels like it's not just melting, it's redirecting, but also bringing to the surface. That's the reason I brought this. I said everything that feels like it's suppressed and repressed, it's like a magnet where it's pulling it from the surface. So I'm seeing it as something that's being excavated from you during this time. Anyway, the morning that I arrived, we'll go ahead and take you through the story, okay? Let's backtrack. So before I even arrived at the Seven Doors Temple, that morning in meditation, I also had a throat chakra blockage. So it feels like a full circle moment that you've come to, where your gifts have now been recovered internally and are now amplified and are now ready to be shared and expressed with the world around you. That's what it feels like we're going through. You know, that SpongeBob movie is like, around town. I'm seeing it as that, but I'm seeing it's deeper than that, than just like the hysterical side of it. He's actually moving his hips, and in that energy we're talking about sacral chakra. So I'm seeing as creation that's flowing from you, authentic expression and creation that's ready to flow from you, that's been repressed, suppressed, and has reached basically this climax or this culmination point, and it's waiting to be alchemized. Okay, it's waiting to be, I'm seeing fifth house elements, so kind of like released through maybe a hobby, or streamlined or channeled into a creative project or something, right? That allows your inner child, fifth house or soul, to express itself freely, to create for creation's sake without creating based upon how you're going to be perceived. So what I felt was not just heavy, but I was just being present, right, with that contraction. And it felt like there was something that was waiting to be fully understood. This is where you found yourself. It's like you've understood this within yourself. You've understood maybe how to use it. So what came through was very, very clear. It was that I was being asked to understand myself so deeply. So I'm seeing this as you have been asked to understand yourself so deeply and not seek to be understood. And in that, you no longer needed external validation, but instead you became your own witness to the journey that would unfold, to you recovering this power once again. And I'm hearing reclaiming it and becoming a living, breathing embodiment, an example of it. So when I went to the temple, I tried to do this reading, right? And there was a contraction that was still there, and I decided not to force it. So I waited. And during that time, there was a square to the nose that was taking place. And I knew it was literally moments away, which was going to bring about fated encounters and synchronicities. And this is something that I expressed beforehand. I already knew that this was going to show up in the stars, because things that happen in the cosmos and the shifts that happen in the cosmos is inseparable to the changes that happen on Earth. It's actually going to ripple and translate into the energy that flows not just around us, but literally anchors and projects through us as cosmic beings of intelligence. Anyway, I'm seeing this as a higher intelligence that's happening around, it's happening. Okay, there's a higher intelligence that you're connected to. How am I going to say this? It felt like something needed to align before I fully opened, okay? And I fully vocalized this thing. So when that moment came, everything began to suddenly move. However, it happened not in a way that I could plan for. So I'm seeing this is where you're at. This is going to unfold in a way that you couldn't have possibly planned for, yet you're still prepared for in a way that you don't understand quite yet. Like, you have been prepared. You have become the version of self who is going to achieve these things. The success is not even in what it is that you've achieved yet. It's in whom it is that you've become. Like, that's been the biggest success of all. So let me immerse you into the scene. The story went like this. The father, who was the security on the ground, and his daughter actually approached us. And as they approached us, we started speaking to them, and they invited us to follow them. So I saw this as a whole ecosystem with a timeline filled with experiences. This involves people, synchronicities, events that will unfold, like a dome or reality that you enter into from this space, okay, opening, and being open to what would be revealed or shown to you from the world around you. So I knew I was in this throat chakra timeline right now. You can think about it like that, okay? A whole ecosystem of experiences waiting to be experienced by you. Let's say that, right? So they first led us into a cenote, and then the daughter, all on her own, guided us in further. She led us into this crypt that was underground, and it was a place that I don't think we would have found ourselves. It felt as if she was a celestial guide that was holding part of the path, especially because the crypt sat beneath the elevated platform that was above it. And above, there was this place of the voice and expression and presence. And below, what was hidden quietly beneath the surface, suppressed, and hadn't been brought to the surface just yet, mirrored the throat chakra perfectly. Then she guided us, and we began to move again, and we came back out and reconnected with Father. And this time he guided us through the land, through overgrown paths with this dense vegetation. It was places that hadn't been walked in a very long time. And so as we moved, he literally had to clear the way and break down the overgrown vegetation. And, he's cutting these branches and opening the path as we walked it. So the message couldn't have been clearer. It's not that the path reveals itself before you. Instead, it unfolds as you walk the path, right? This was happening during a trine to Saturn. So it's quite literally forging a new path where even though there was all this fiery energy that was taking place in the sky, there was still this sense of groundedness or the sense of being anchored amongst the changes that would unfold before you. As long as you're open and receptive, then you'll see it happening in real time. So we moved through a number of different spaces, but one that really stood out was the ball game court, and something clicked instantly when I read it because it said, without the court, there is no game. And it showed that the structure creates the field, and the field allows the experience. And it felt more than just a ritual space. It was almost a reflection of incarnation itself, like a celestial game playing out across lifetimes. When you enter a structure, a body, a reality, in order to participate, to move, to interact, and to evolve, it shows that everything we experience here exists within a kind of field of play. And then at the very end, we were led into a place called Templo Prado, and it's the standing temple. This felt like a full circle because I had seen it before in a dream and in the astral state. So to arrive there physically, finally, it didn't feel like I was discovering something new. It just felt like I was meeting something again, like literally a memory collapsing into the physical field. And then in that moment, everything connected. It was that movement within the cosmos is inseparable from life on Earth. It showed me that certain places on this planet act as meeting points where different layers of reality begin to intersect. And so you realize that you're not just witnessing it, but you're literally it. You are not just a part of it, you are the system itself. You are a point where those cycles begin to meet. It's like light becoming information, and that light is you, informing the physical plane through your presence, your awareness, your choices. And again, that trine to Saturn, there was this like grounding energy to it. And that isn't something that you feel, it's something that you build. It's something that you anchor into form. And then the final piece came through with the 7 doors themselves. I got a download about these small clay figures that seem so simple, but they hold something much bigger. And it felt like looking at this entire reality from a higher perspective, like consciousness playing with form, playing with pieces, moving them, experiencing itself through creation, almost like a larger intelligence playing in a kind of dollhouse, and not in a trivial way, but in a way that's curious and creative and explorative. And it reminded me how fluid this reality actually is, how easy it is to shift and move and realign, and to come back into that solar essence of the soul, the part of you that is here to explore, to create, to play. And the 7 Doors Temple showed me this. It showed that contraction isn't something to avoid, but it's something to understand, whether that's something that we feel in our external reality or something that emerges from within us. Because on the other side of that, we find clarity. And that path doesn't appear all at once. It opens as you walk it. And that's this life. This structure is essentially a game. It's far more fluid than what we've been taught to believe. And the moment you return to that core essence, everything begins to move again. Not through force, not through control, but through openness and the willingness to walk forward, even if you cannot yet see where it leads. And that's the message that we have today. It just feels like the gift in which you are and the gift in which emerges from you, maybe how that's going to be received or how that will be perceived. And I'm seeing how that will actually be admired. So I'm going to do a reading that I haven't done in a long time. And it is going to be around, okay, you as a character. I'm going to take a look at the energetic signature of what wants to emerge or be expressed, and then also the amplified energy in the field around you. I'm going to get a character from the tarot, and then I'm going to use my Cosmos Oracle message because it does feel more quantum. Okay, collective, right. Ace of Swords. Oh, beautiful card, right? Because what is the swords? Swords, I'm hearing, is a higher intelligence, but it's also clarity that emerges. It's the voice that emerges. It's finally something that is said, something that is expressed. It could be something in which you've been studying. I love that this is also a Fibonacci sequence spiral because it shows that you've come again deeper into yourself in order to access higher dimensions, because you can see how it ends up evolving into the light, and then that projects outwardly into the world around her. So the Ace of Swords is something that you have to say. It's about seeing yourself crystal clear, seeing this crystal clear. And the Page of Wands is here at the base, which talks about play, exploration, actually grounding and anchoring something into the physical material plane. In this depiction, it would be where the moment the paintbrush touches the canvas, and then you get to see what it is that ends up creating in your life. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords signature is basically an ace. It's a brand new beginning. You get to express yourself, remembering who you are as you do it. And that's the seed that's planted. Okay, the seed, and what culminates from that seed isn't about what the seed is. It's about your frequency at the time it was planted. Attraction. Are you kidding me? Attraction and pulsar at the base. Are you kidding me? Pulsar is a quick journey. Okay, it talks about something having intervals and a roller coaster. So not only is this going to be received well, and you're going to be received well, attraction is literally something being amplified. So it's the energy that we said, but probably the best possible outcome for it. I'm going to read attraction. It's one of the most exciting cards that there is, especially in this context. Okay. Attraction. Isn't it funny that the card before this is antimatter? So, attraction is a force which makes an object, person, situation, pattern, etc. move towards another, vice versa. I can't get that out of my head. You might want to watch Dark Matter. That's such a good series. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the new season to come out. I think it's supposed to come out in the summer or something, but I'm seeing that from you. The reason I can't get that out of my head right now, and it's come through just now, is it's almost like there's a new season that's emerging from you. And you know how the characters from each season, they go through like their own kind of elevation, where they come back and they've gone on and lived their own stories, and they've grown and they've evolved, and you know, whether that be their mindset, their emotional state, the way that they see themselves and their potential, and you really begin to understand witness the journey of how they unlock their power once again. I'm seeing that as something that people are recognizing within you, like these cyclical cycles with the Ace of Swords, where each coordinate on the spiral, right? Each coordinate within space-time has taught you something valuable, and you're bringing that forth, and it's reverberating is the word through the masses. So I'm hearing it's a reverberation. That's going to be a key word. So help me remember that. Okay, we've got to log that in, guys. Okay, so attraction is a force which makes an object, person, situation, pattern, etc. move towards the other. The magnetism it creates is so large that energy bodies attract each other continuously to find themselves face to face. It's the action of attracting and a result. It behaves as functioning of the law of attraction. This means that energy units emitted, right? So the things in which you send out, the things in which you create, send back a similar wave of energy to the one released. So it's very much like, for example, a silly example, maybe not, right? The sun has its exothermic reaction. So it transfers light, heat, photons to its surroundings. When those photons are received, right, it's like the cycle of photosynthesis, I believe, and then that would like create like anyway, it's all glucose, and it's a regenerative life force. It's a regenerative system where the plants are like, yes, the sun. It's kind of like that energy, and it's like, yeah, let me help receive the sun codes, and it feels so beautiful to be in the sun and be immersed in this solar field. I don't know why, but there's something around that where the sun represents like the soul's essence, and that really coming up out of you. It kind of reminds you of the soul, like the assemblage point where the soul begins to express itself through form completely, to the point where the physical vessel merely becomes a conduit. And I feel like we spoke about that earlier, right? Merely or mere. This means that the energy units emitted will send back a similar wave of energy to the one released. The bodies attract each other due to the high energy vibration and tune. So I'm seeing gratitude unfolds tenfold in. So interesting, because I'm seeing the sun bound to like this solar system, but the reason it's played such a huge role and it brings life to Earth is because there's an internal conversation. It feels like internal communication, and this could be part of the things that's unseen. It's how in the embodiment that you anchor into this grid, in the creation that flows from you and into the world around you and touches those even in the unseen ways, dramatically shifts and even subtly shifts and begins to disrupt the way that someone sees themselves or the way that they see you. And so they recognize potential that exists within you, like the light within you is also the light that exists within me, right? And the light that exists within me is the light that exists within you. I'm just seeing it as infinite potential unfolding tenfold. Anyway, let's go and look up the keyword of reverberation, right? Because that's like energy going out. It kind of reminds you of the wave where it's sent out, hits an obstacle, and then it returns back amplified. Reverberation is the continuation of a signal after its initial expression. This is echoes, right? Because it's like something is cast out, but then it continues to take on a life of its own after you. It kind of reminds you of legacy, not being in what it is that you create, but the way in which you impact people. It's when something is sent out and instead of ending, it echoes, reflects, and carries on through the field. So this is how it translates into creation for you. Like maybe it's holding a certain frequency. Super interesting. All right, so that's what this is. It could be how your voice reverberates out. Ooh, it reminds me of the throat chakra. I have a note of this on my phone actually, like a download. Let me see if I can find it. It reminds you of like the voice box itself. If I type in voice box, it might come up. See if I can find it. So the first message that came up was back in 2025, 9th of January could be significant for you. I spoke about the Nautilus instinct. So in the face of challenge and adversity, there was an opportunity for Ariel to get her voice back, which represents authenticity of those who she's had like imbalanced exchanges with, right? How she's allowed the illusion of the external to suppress her authenticity in some way. So it's where she's unconsciously compromised her voice. And it came at a high cost, which was her authentic expression. So this is something that you could be alchemizing, because in that whole, it was like a reading that I did probably back in 2024. It's no longer up on the channel, but I decoded all these different kind of, and I used like the masonry grid and all these different like hierarchies essentially. And I was decoding like the psychology behind each character. Anyway, with the voice chakra, I said our voice is intentional communication to create. It is one of the most important centers that connects the non-physical language with the physical. It's where your non-physical life force is translated into biochemistry, as it's a unique frequency that you hold within your body, and bioelectricity is expressed into the world through the throat. And when we're not able to move the energy through the throat, this is where we have a disconnection when it comes to our highest expression. We disconnect from our higher self the moment that we fear the unknown. So I spoke about it as to step outside the dream requires making some firm, conscious, and irreversible choices. Once you choose to be free from other people's influence, you realize that they were never standing in your way. Oh, this is a powerful message of the throat chakra. It reminds me of a reading that I did. It's up. I'll link it down below. When I was in Egypt, I was speaking about the throat chakra as well and those themes. So that could be activating for you too. Anyway, I spoke about it as the dialogue is that we are anchoring our most elegant, intelligent, otherworldly, multidimensional, etheric nature into the physical vessel or matter and freely projecting it into this realm, not worrying about how it's going to be received or perceived, and standing strong in your truth. That's the cultivation of your full expression. And I spoke about shifting the way that you perceive creation itself and you as a creator being, an extension of infinite potential, and becoming conscious of that change. And then it's an invitation to kind of manage our physical vessel and the belief systems that we have that have been holding us back and ascend that into a high octave. Anyway, I spoke about kind of embodying the higher self into your everyday life. So it could be something in which you're being called to do in order to align yourself with your highest timelines. But the moment that you stand up for yourself and you create and you speak and you vocalize and you express, you stand up for all versions and the repeated patterns throughout lifetimes and ancestral bloodline in which you've incarnated into that were never able to. You speak up for all those who have come before and for all those who will come after. So I'm seeing that as it changes with you. This is a moment where the momentum shifts, especially when it comes to your own internal connection with yourself and seeing this sacredness within your own connection and expression, and the way that you express yourself while being so deeply connected to yourself unapologetically, right? That's what I get. So I spoke about it marking a passage through time and a celestial gateway essentially that opens up for you. Maybe we'll touch on that and we'll do an updated one if you guys want to see it in the description box. I did that one a couple years ago, but that's coming back around, right? So that could be significant for you. Super powerful messages. Right, that is that. That's that. Let's take a look at what your advice would be with the Cosmos Oracle and the Tarot. See what advice we can get. Knight of Pentacles. Slow, relaxed, productive, earthly steps that you take, okay? This is how you're grounding it into the experience. See, the Knight of Pentacles, the role that he plays is that he is the knight that you'd want to put your money on because you know he's going to see something through to completion. He knows what roads or thoughts or ways of being are going to be incompatible with the outcome that he desires, right? So he knows how to align his actions accordingly and how to make sure that that is not just conducive but also congruent with what he wants to experience, right? When I talk about congruency, we're talking about the marriage and blend between the soul's intentions and how you support that with your physical action, okay? So when there's an incongruency, there is this separation that happens where you're not doing the things that you want to do, okay? So it's really as simple as that. So it creates like this incompatibility where you're not there's a vibrational gap between what you want to experience and things you're actually applying yourself to, right? That's a blend of the masculine and physical. The masculine and the feminine. So the Knight of Pentacles, what he does is he actually strategizes the route that he's going to take, and he puts one foot in front of the other and he sees it through. So that's what I see you being called to do, right? This is about knowing that the soul is not in a rush. Nature does not rush, yet everything is still accomplished. Let's go ahead and get a quantum message for this or advice. Get started. That's what I see. Get started. The spiral. Now, the spiral is the way that you can experience the journey. The spiral is knowing that at any point in time, you're going to experience some kind of coordinate within the spiral itself. And this is knowing that time is not linear. It's a spherical motion. So I'm seeing it as experiencing different octaves, expressions of yourself. For example, the one that doesn't know how to do something, that's first learning. The one who has it become a habit until it just naturally becomes a way of being. It's going to take a little while to wear new shoes, right? What do? We break it in. It feels like you're being called with your advice to break this into a new way of being until it just becomes a normal part of your reality. It's not something that you have to put on a pedestal and say, okay, I'm separate from this thing. No, you literally elevate to that vision that you have, right? You don't lower the vision to where you are. You literally begin to elevate and take incremental steps on that journey. So this talks about experiencing it as a vicious cycle or a virtuous cycle. For example, let's say you want to make content. It doesn't have to be, it can be anything. Let's say you want to be an artist. What's the first thing that you have to do, right? The first thing that you have to do is start with what you have. Even if you feel like you don't have the material equipment, you have a phone, right? You have a camera. You have a camera on your phone that you can just record. You don't even need a microphone. You can start with what you have. Like you feel like you don't have a place to do it, go to a park, go to a nature spot, go to somewhere that's going to feel like it's a conducive container. Start with what you have and you can build the rest later. We can get overwhelmed with a bigger vision when we feel like, okay, there's a huge frequency gap between that ultimate goal that I have and where I am now. But if you're able to anchor in things, you can build it in later, right? It's like if you're making a at-home gym and you're like, I don't have all the material possessions right now to get the leg press machine and to get the machine and to get the and the bikes and the elliptical and the treadmill, and I don't have all the things, right? Well, you can start with what you have. You can get one thing and you can build it consistently over time. It's the same thing when you move into the house. Just worry about getting into the house, getting the space, and then choosing what you want to create from it, right? It reminds me of a video of this dude he did, and he was like, he said something like, he was like, you know, Habibi, it doesn't matter if you're gonna eat or not. When you go to a new country, right, is it better to be full at home or hungry in a new country? He spoke about, you know, I don't quite like that. He was like, oh, just get the plane tickets and go. Plane tickets first, accommodation second, food, we'll worry about that later, right? So there's something around, it's like, start with what you have and you'll figure it out along the way. Again, the whole message is that the path isn't going to unfold in front of you all at once. You have to be willing to walk the path, and as you walk the path begins to unfold before you, right? So that's the journey in which you're going on when it comes to what this is going to look like for you. You can experience it as a vicious cycle or a virtuous cycle, but all I'm hearing, good things take time to those who wait, and you can experience that waiting or the lagging period as something that you're irritated by, or something that is a beautiful unfoldment because you are elevating and growing and evolving into the version of self that is going to be eligible and conducive enough to hold and continue to create within that container. Your first job is to get the fish tank, right? To get the container and then start filling it with things. You don't want to get the fish before you have the water, right? So there's something around the water, the fluidity, the natural expression, and focus on those. It kind of feels like, yes, we have 555 on the microwave right now. So that is getting comfortable outside of your comfort zone, right? It says if you want to grow, there needs to be change. For change, there must be evolution. Change happens outside of your comfort zone. The time has come to change. The angels are whispering for you to trust your path and learn how to walk it. Take the next step and allow change to lift you up and guide you forward. See, as you take the step, you'll notice that the ground rises to meet you. I release all that no longer serves me as I'm guided to move outside of my comfort zone and let change in. So I'm going to love you right there, okay? That's going to be the message today. I trust that this will meet you exactly where it is that you are on your path. And you got this. That's all I have to say to you. You got this. There's nothing more that needs to be said other than, where are you going to take this? What are you going to take yourself to experience? What's the journey that's unfolding before you? And entertain the timeline of what if it all went right. And I don't feel it's a matter of if, but when. What are you going to do and feel when that happens? And can you feel and anchor that into your body right now? Can you get excited for your future before it arrives? Because that, my friend, is how you collapse time. So, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. Personal reading details are also down below. I have finished the waiting list through May, so now we have a regular turnaround for I guess the next like 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'm going to be transitioning into a new location. So that's going to be exciting. All will be revealed in due time. So there will probably be a waiting list, that being said, and for about for 3 weeks until the end of May to about 2 weeks into June, something like that. There will probably be a waiting period. So if you want a regular turnaround, I recommend to do it before then. But if you're okay being in that window, then everything will unfold perfectly. And yeah, anything else? Also check out Altar Spirit. If you're looking for some high quality 888 grade gemstones, 1/3 of the proceeds are donated towards Altar Sanctuaries. So you have 2 discount codes on the description box. I have Sunstone. This is like one of my favorite lately. We have Moonstone. This is Rainbow Moonstone. And then this is Kunzite, okay, which is a self-love stone. Yeah. All right, until next time. Bye.